Good morning. My name is Maciek. I'm a lifeguard at South County Pool. Today we're gonna go general overview of the pump room itself. I'm not gonna go into detail into any particular component, but just a general overview. Just a few things to know. This pool is operated, it's a saltwater pool, meaning that the chlorine is generated at the location and the salt is added to the water to increase its conducting the electrical current, basically. Let's just put it that way. For a backup of chlorine, we have a calcium hypochlorite add-on called Pulsar, and also an Odels. And then we also add acid to the water, and we're gonna get to the chemical part of it. But first, I want to go over the main things. So as we remember from the previous video, there is this triangle of pool itself, spill tank, and a pump room. So from the pool, the water goes into the spill tank. Then from the spill tank, it goes to the pump room, and we're gonna start from there. Then we go over briefly over the filter and backwash procedure, which was in detail described in a separate video. I'm gonna explain why higher apart pressures are a good indicator of dirty filter. Then we're gonna go into the heater bypass design, chemical introduction, and pool water return. Okay, you guys are ready? Okay, let's go in. Okay guys, so those two pipes here, 1 and 2, those are the pipes that the water enters the pump room. I encourage those of you who work here to come actually to the pump room. Sometimes I put the arrows on all the major pipes so you guys can actually see and understand which direction the water goes. But anyway, those two pipes, water gets from the spill tank to the pump room. Those two things, 1 and 2, those are the heart of the pump room. Those are the motors and impellers. They move this tremendous, almost 800 gallons a minute of water, and so basically they are center of it. This is the last line of defense, so-called strainer basket. So this is 1 and 2, last line of defense before any larger debris would get into the system or into the filter. So whatever didn't get caught previously, this is where it gets stuck. Once they accumulate too much of it, they can obstruct the water flow. I just actually backwash and clean them, so there should be no issues there. And one thing I want to point, if you look around here, there's tremendous amount of all sorts of valves. And typically, like you see this, if the handle is parallel to the pipe, that means the valve is open. If it's perpendicular to the pipe, then that means the valve is closed. There are different type of valves, with the round wheel, so to speak, but then typically brackets would be the same configuration. So you guys just want to remember that. So after the water is moved through the pumps, it goes right here through this big pipe. It merges together from two separate ones into one big one, and it goes into the filter. It goes to the top of the filter, and it exits at the bottom of the filter during normal operation. During the backwash, the flow of the water through the sand filter is reversed, and then this water flowing into reverse picks up all the dirt deposited into the filter for the period of last, say, a week or two, and gets it out, and basically it's discharged, and you can see it, you can look at it closely in a separate video about the backwash procedure. So anyway, under normal operation, the water enters top of the filter, exits bottom of the filter, and then it goes, there is a thick pipe, you can't see it, it's behind the sand filter, but it goes and it exits or enters, depending on how you look at it, back through this pipe, okay? And then it goes here, you just follow the arrows, and then we get to the point of the heater bypass, okay? And best is just to come here and look at it. What's heater bypass? Basically, majority of the water doesn't go through the heater or chiller assembly. Only about a third would go there, and then I'm going to make a separate video about the heater procedure and how to operate it. So that's the bypass. This valve, we never touch it. It stays, you know, partially open, just to allow enough water to bypass and enough to go to the heaters. Those are the two pipes. If you look here, those are the pipes that channel the portion of the water to the heater assembly. And you see the bottom one goes to the heaters. This one goes back from the heaters. And you can actually feel it when they are running. When you touch the top pipe, it's going to be warmer than the bottom one. Good indicator that the water is actually warmer. This is going to be reversed if we're running those units into in chilling mode. Okay. Actually now the water is coming back from the heater. We get into the chemical introduction. So all the chemicals going to be introduced right before the whole water returns back to the pool. And here it is. That's our acid tank. It holds just over 100 gallons of acid, diluted to about 3%. And those are two feeders. So each one of those feeders is connected with the line that goes, you see two lines, and 1, 2 here. This is our salt tank and its little controller. The salt tank and the salt controller is actually separate from our controller controlling the rest of the chemicals, okay? And the salt tank is here, okay? And by the way, when we come here, we always want to make sure that our tanks are filled. I'm going to go in a moment over the brief, you know, what to look for. The second tank is also part of the salt tank assembly. It holds water and a floater, meaning that it makes sure that there's always some water level, so there is portion of the salt is dissolved, so it can be fed in the form of liquid through that feeder into the pool to maintain steady level 5 parts per million, 5 parts of salt per million parts altogether. That's how we measure it. Okay, so let's see here. This top pipe, this is the one after all the chemical introduction, when the water goes back to the pool. It divides here into those two valves. We don't ever have to worry about it. They remain open at all times. The water goes into the ground through the pipes and goes back to the pool. So that's just basically in a nutshell that. This is our pulsar, this tank. This is important. This is our secondary source of chlorine, which unfortunately we have to use every day, especially on a sunny day. By the way, guys, the UV radiation and the intense sun is the #1 burner or using up factor, if you will, of the chlorine. So you always want to make sure you open it that there is something in it. This should never be empty. Now you see there is some pellets, and I also use some granulate calcium hypochlorite. It's the same chemical with the same concentration in just different form. But anyway, typically, if you guys look, this is what the pellets look like. I would be careful, use the mask. The fumes of high concentration chlorine are absolutely not good to inhale, so always use the mask if you work with them. Let's go here for a moment. I just want to go, maybe Elton, if you can just do the shot of the hour, not necessarily that close. Go a little further so we can see the buttons. Guys, this is the pumps are heart of the pump room, but this is the controller. This is the brain, if you will. So every time you get into the pump room, what you want to do first, you come here, and if you see, for instance, now you see the red dot emergency off. The pumps, of course, are off. Everything is off because otherwise it's too loud to even you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. But you always want to get here. If you see here the alarm would be the red dot, and if it's flashing, then the first thing you want to do, you want to find out why is it flashing. So you want to read the display. It's going to say, most likely it can be something like no flow alarm, or it will say CL failsafe, meaning chlorine failsafe, meaning, well, I explained that later. All you have to know at this point is that basically the chlorine feeding system failed, and it needs to be restored. It's a rather simple procedure. You typically would have to hit that button, reset, and then it will guide you. It will typically say hit 1, so you hit 1, and then you hit previous, and then it should restore. You should hear the click of the chlorine units kicking back in, and so on. What else? But this is this is the basically an operating. I'm going to go into more detail on a separate video operating our controller. I think this is pretty much it. For now, that's all. Thank you for watching.